Hello again. I wanted to answer off the cuff this time another question that Yardism posed, and this time it's number 13, lucky 13. He asked, in our personal opinion, how much money is too much money? And I appreciate his caveat being that he does not advocate taking from someone who others feel has too much and redistributing. I agree with that. It's completely ridiculous because, anyway, if you can earn it, make it. So my answer to that, how much money is too much money, is any cent above what the Lord was willing for me to have. I mean, I'll put it this way. There's a passage, and like I said, it's off the cuff. I'm not looking up these things, but there is a passage, couple of them that I'm thinking of. One about to whom much is given, much is expected, basically. And there's the parable of the master who goes on vacation or whatever. He leaves, but he leaves 3 amounts of money with his different servants. One of them dug a hole and hid it. Another one invested it. And the third, I can't even remember what he did, but the one that was most appreciated was the one that invested it and made more with it. The other story that comes to mind is that of I don't think it was Nicodemus, it might have been, but there's some rich guy that came up to Jesus and says, how he wanted to be born again, and he knew, but Jesus was like, didn't think it was quite, I don't want to say sincere, but he challenged him by saying, basically, leave everything behind and follow me. He was challenging this man to sell his possessions, give to the poor, and follow Jesus. And he couldn't do it. So it just showed where his heart was. And if there's also the talk of idols, that anything that you find is more important than the God of the universe, your creator and savior, that becomes an idol. And for many, it's money. So I think I'll bring it down personally. So I mentioned a couple of passages that I'm aware of in the Bible that speak to it. Personally, when I am not kind of scrimping and saving mode, like when I think everything's going swimmingly, I tend to not quite as much lean on his provision as his, like, every day. Now the story comes to mind of the woman and her son who had just enough oil to make like 1 day's worth of bread every day, and this thing never ran dry. It's like she didn't have a lot, but she had enough to make food for 1 day every day. And that's where I find the sweet spot is, I think, in depending on God for your provision. It's getting tight right now, and I actually have a interview Wednesday, for a part-time position in San Jose. So, we kind of go back and forth between where God is leading or wanting us to stay. So I'm still kind of feeling that out, but it's feeling less and less like we're supposed to move necessarily to Auburn. I think his plan in having me have a part-time job in Auburn was that I would drive and spend that time 2.5 hours, worshiping, praying, and singing to him. It's really, really changed my outlook and focus in life. That's been important, and I think it's becoming clear that that's where my soul resets, not just Sunday morning, but you know, Wednesday night when I drive up there and Friday when I come back. It's these points in the week when I am, I'll say, driven to my knees because how many of you are just super busy and you just don't sit down to talk to him or write to him? I do have a prayer journal, but I just don't do it. So that's not quite getting off topic because it still has to do with depending on God. And I think how much money is too much money is 1 cent beyond what the Lord intends for you to have. That could cover also getting at this money illegitimately. Things like, you know, kind of sneak around sort of, or make a half truth in order to get ahead. That is, I wouldn't want to have anything that way either. I don't know how to close this off because I didn't write it out. So there's my answers. Short and sweet, long and boring. I don't know. Take it easy. Thanks.